This is the main reason people generally do not scale their Amazon businesses that most people won't tell you. My name's Hayden. I've been selling for over 4 years now. Over 4 years? Up to 4 years. Around about 4 years I've been selling. I've sold over £1.2 million in my UK and USA store combined. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about exactly why I am not wanting to scale this into a huge business, although I thought I was. Okay, I thought I did. I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm not wanting to scale it into a huge business. And the number one thing, this is the number one reason why, and the number one reason I think Amazon FBA is a good business model for a certain level in business, but it's not the sort of business model that I would recommend scaling above 700,000, 800,000, a million for sure, in my opinion. And here's what people don't tell you. This is generally what people don't know. This isn't like me trying to call out some guru saying, you know, they say this and it's wrong. I don't care about any of that. Everyone's on their own journey. Everyone's trying their best. Some people say stuff that they believe, and that's fine as long as they believe it, okay? But in my experience, which was quite a harsh reality to have recently, I've come to the conclusion that this is the main fundamental underlying issue with Amazon FBA. Okay, so coming from someone that's got multiple years experience in it and sold on the platform. And it's not just me that thinks this. I know many people that think this. I've got a good friend of mine that does about 2.5 million a year. And I know loads of people that do big figures and they think the same. Some of them don't even know that this is the main issue that they're having, but they're definitely experiencing it. And it took me a while to actually realize that this was the issue. Okay, so what is it, you're all asking? The fact that it is a stock-based business is the first part. And the second part is the part that Amazon holds your fees for around 2 weeks. Okay, so let's compare Amazon FBA to another business model, a service business model. So let's say that you run an agency, and that agency, right, you have got 40 clients that are on a regular basis and you're charging them £500 per month. That's £20,000, £20,000 turnover. Let's deduct 2 full-time staff members off that. What's that? 5,000, 6,000 to be generous, okay? So you're still left with about 14,000 profit. Let's take an office off that, 2,000, okay? So you're still left with 12,000 net profit. I can't think of anything else, any other major costs you would have, but I know agencies that have that sort of profit, okay? From a fairly small business, by the way. And do you know what's so beautiful about a business like that? You get paid in liquid cash if you set it up that way. The start of the month, the middle of the month, the end of the month, whenever you set it up that way. Now let's compare that to Amazon FBA. You buy products, okay, you launch products, you spend a lot of money on PPC if you're launching your own products, a lot of money on brand design, etc. That's fine as long as it's got longevity in it. Here's what happens, and here's the main issue. You buy a product, okay? You buy a product, or you buy multiple of the same products in your inventory, okay? Or it might be spread across multiple ASINs, whatever it is. You're spending money on inventory. You're sending that to Amazon, hopefully, okay, hopefully, if you haven't got slow sales or no sales, which is a completely different issue. Let's pretend the business is doing good numbers, okay? And you're spending that money on inventory. That is getting sent to the Amazon FBA fulfillment center. You're sitting in that stock, okay? Now, every time you sell an item, you've got to replenish an item, which means that every time you sell, you've got to buy. And you should be making your profit, right, on that little bit in between where you're restocking products, right? But when you sell it, you're making money on it. So you should be making money. Haha, not as easy as that. Okay, here's the problem. When you sell products on Amazon, there's a 2-week payment cycle generally, okay? 2-week payment cycle generally. So Amazon aren't going to pay you for 2 weeks, okay? So that profit that you see isn't going to happen for another 2 weeks. And in another 2 weeks, within them 2 weeks, you're going to get more sales. So you have to invest more. That money's got to come from somewhere. You've got to invest more into inventory to restock Amazon, to restock it all, okay? And Amazon don't care about that. Obviously, you've got to pay your VAs, you've got to pay your staff, your warehouses, your overfees, your prep bills, whatever it is, okay, your boxes, etc., on top of that 2-week delay. And it's not just the 2-week delay that's actually the issue. If you want to grow a business, okay, even without the 2-week delay, which is a major issue, by the way, because there's always cash in that pot, Amazon's pot. Amazon, I've probably got about 15,000 in mine at the moment in both my accounts. Not only that, if you want to grow your business, you've got to spend more money on top of filling that little 2-week gap and on top of restocking your inventory to fulfill the current sales that are coming. You've got to spend more money on stock. Okay, we've got this at Christmas right now. All of our money is invested in stock pretty much, waiting for increased sales, which are happening, right? So to grow the business, you have to invest more in stock, right? Makes sense. All of this in theory sounds okay. Oh yeah, but it's okay because it will come back one day. You know, you eventually you'll get it back. Let me tell you, I've been selling for about 4 years. It's sometimes I don't feel like I've made much progress in the last year and a half in terms of, this is the important bit, what I actually pay myself. I don't feel like, even if I've made, and I have in the past, 15, 20,000 net profit in a month. I have done that on Amazon before, right? And I'll probably do it in December this year, okay, if all things go well. Here's the problem. Do I feel like I can pay myself even half of that, okay? No, because 1, it's tied up. 2, it's got to be tied up back into stock after we sell, okay? Yes, there'll be money left over, but it's in stock, okay? If you want to grow the business, you have to invest it into stock, yeah? You have to grow, you have to invest it, reinvest it back into stock to grow the business. And between having stock holdings, Amazon account, all the money in there, money you owe your credit cards, money in stock, money that you owe the prep centers, money that you owe, suppliers and things like that. You're lucky if you see much of that money back, because there's always money tied up in the system, because it's not just a stock-based business. You've got a 2-week delay on the Amazon payments as well. Amazon hold money and you've got to buy stock. So you're always forever fighting this sort of episode of hard business. And as I say, if you compare it to some sort of service business, let's do an agency, for example, you've got a lot more liquid cash to start the month and at the end of the month in there. Obviously, you could do rapid expansions and stuff like that, and then we're not really counting that. We're talking about general tick-over service-based businesses. And that's the major hiccup that a lot of people don't talk about, okay? If you want to pay yourself 10 grand, even if you make 15 or 20 grand on paper in your Amazon business, very hard to do so without really impacting the growth of the business. So you never feel like you're making massive progress. In my conclusion, from all of this time selling on Amazon, years selling over 1 million, right? 1.2 million, I've sold over 1.2 million. In my conclusion, you need to give yourself a set salary and then maybe give yourself bonuses, okay? But it's just not, I want people to be aware that it's just not the same sort of thing as having some sort of service-based business. It's a different thing completely. It may sound like I'm being negative. I'm not. I'm going to keep my Amazon business, my e-commerce business. I'm launching loads of brands at the moment. I'm literally launching 2 brands as we speak, private label brands on top of my current brand. I sell in the USA as well, and I'm continue to do that, continue to invest in it, continue to build the business. But I'm sort of capping myself at 1 million now. I think, you know, when I get to 1 million, which hopefully won't be too long at all, you know, this month alone, I think we should do, between the UK and the USA, about 75-ish sort of thing in total, 75-ish thousand between my UK and USA. So we're not far off it at all. But I don't think I'm going to grow much more than that. I'm going to be investing myself into service businesses, software businesses, other types of businesses, media businesses, this sort of business, because you get paid cash. And I've never been the sort of person that's wanted to sell the courses or the mentoring or anything like that, but there's nothing wrong if you want to do that. It's just not the route that I went down. But now I see it very clearly why most of the Amazon e-commerce gurus sell the courses and the training. It's because they've got cash flow issues generally. Unless they're at a serious size with huge margins, they're going to have cash flow issues. And most people that are at size have smaller margins. So it never really goes away. If you want to grow the business, you've got to spend more in stock and lose that cash flow. So yes, you can pay yourself a decent whack. I still think it's a great model to do. There's a lot of pros to it as well. But that's the thing that I don't hear many people talking about, guys. You've got to understand that it's not just, oh, I've made 10 grand profit net, I can take 10 grand out. No, you absolutely cannot, because it's detrimental to the business. If this YouTube channel and podcast has ever given you value, I ask you to do me a favor. I ask you to subscribe to this channel and subscribe to the podcast, the Mr. Hayden podcast, where you can get all of these recordings on there as well and extra content. The question is, will you do it? I'll see you in the next video.